Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Amy. Welcome to my house in Dallas, Texas. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. To shop items inspired by this and other Homeworthy episodes, be sure to check out the product links below for amazing furniture, accessories, and more.
My name is Amy Smith Atkins, and I have an interior design firm in Dallas, Texas called Amy's Interiors. We also have a furniture line called Amy's Interiors Collection. So we are in Dallas, Texas in University Park. I live close to SMU and I love this area. And I moved here 18 years ago with 4 young children as a single parent and really just needed to get into a nest and make it my own. It was built in 1926. So it is close to being a historic property. We're proud of that aspect, and I just really lightened it up with removing doors, lightening all the colors, and just establish a little more of a fresh palette. You will see as you walk through. Welcome to my living room. In keeping with a home that was built in 1926, I do not have an entryway, so you just walk right into my living room. Because of my job, I get to go to beautiful antique fairs, and this I purchased in a Paris antique fair, and I love the weight of it. I love the contrast with the colors and weighting this space with this beautiful antique chest. This beautiful painting is very special to me. My older daughter, who is a teacher at Covenant, an art teacher, she did this painting for me, and it's from the first original square in Paris, in Marais, Place des Vosges, and it was built in the 1600s. And so she made this painting based on me and my colors and what I wanted, but she also put her siblings throughout the painting, which is very special to me. Again, and this is a good reminder to all of you, we all have sentimental things, and I purchased this in my 20s at an antique fair in Newark at the International Antique Fair in England. And you don't see many corner cabinets or corner cupboards, but it's so sentimental to me that I've kept it. Walk over into the sitting area of the space, and we have this contrast of the Abaca rug with all the color. I love the natural fibers. I love the design, and I like the way it pairs beautifully with my love for color. I designed this chair, and it's a nice little citrus pop for the room. We now are doing a furniture collection at Amy's Interiors, and we have a collection of pillows, which are represented on our sofa. The antique brass and glass table, I bought it at an antique fair, a mid-century antique fair in France, and I love it. I love having different textures throughout the room to create interest, especially in an older house. It elevates the space and makes it feel fresh and relevant, and that's a nice little secret. This is really, truly one of my most favorite pieces in the house. It's a beautiful Biedermeier chest, and I often talk about this with clients that a Biedermeier chest is so versatile and something that you can use in most rooms of your house, but they are a people magnet. People always want to talk about the beauty of this chest and just the artistry that comes with the design. I also love collectibles, snuff jars that I've just collected along the way. I grew up in Mississippi, so I'm a proud Mississippian. But love being a Texas transplant as well, but it's very traditional in Mississippi for us to do a portrait of our children, and I have 4, so I have them throughout my house, and you don't really see that very often, but again, that is something that is important to me, and it reflects my personal style, so it is something to remember for all of us, that it's important for your house to reflect things that are important to you. A big part of who I am is I love the beach. I love seaside. It's really my happy place. And I also have good friends from college, one specifically that has a beautiful place in Naples that over the years would let me come down there for a weekend or a getaway. And the shells are incredible. So I have collected a lot of the shells from her place down in Naples, and sand dollars as well. So these are very special to me. We discussed books and how important they are. They're great for layering, they're great for interest, and it's also important to reflect your interest. So 2 of my favorites are actually right here at my front door. We are very inspired by Summer Thornton. She's a designer in Chicago, and we love her use of color. But we also love Pierre Frey. A lot of the fabrics and textiles, wallpaper in my master bath is Pierre Frey. When we went to France one time for an antique fair, we got to go to the archives of Pierre Frey, and so that was very special. We got to see the original prints from the early 1800s and mill through them and hear about what inspired the different prints and the history of them. And I love history, so that was pretty amazing. So those are 2 examples of why those books are important to me. One thing that you will see throughout the home is my love for antique transferware from the Rose Famille family. I have the medallion, I have rose mandarin, just different collectibles that I've picked up along the way that I love. I love the way that their colors are reflected in current trends with those brighter melon type colors, and they're a passion of mine. I have several favorite rooms in the house. I love the sitting room, which you will see shortly. It's very small, it's full of light. My neighbor Betty, who was an older lady, told me that that's where she used to take piano lessons when she was a little girl. Her father was the chancellor at SMU, and she had such fond memories. She said there was always music coming from this house. So I brought my childhood piano here. Even though aesthetically it's not so beautiful, it creates a memory and a feeling, and I do think a house often is the feelings that you have in it. So that room brings me a lot of joy. I also have a tiny porch that I love, and I became one with it during COVID when I was needing my space from other family members. So I would go out on my porch and kind of take in the serenity of quiet. And right off the living room, we have our sitting room. I told you earlier that I live on a street where a lot of the professors from SMU used to live, and the people that used to own this house originally in 1926, they were music professors. So it was a music professor and his wife. So they taught piano and violin, and they used this as their music room. So I had to bring my childhood piano, even though it's not super special. It's meaningful. And having 4 kids, several of them took piano lessons and did piano. It's a tight little cozy spot that has beautiful lighting, and I have lit it up with a lot of color. This Eames chair I bought in a flea market outside of London at the Newark Fair, and just put purple mohair on it when I came back. And then I got a Ming chair along the way and just had it painted black lacquer. I think it's a nice touch to have something that is black lacquered. Again, I have an antique small drum table there, and then a mid-century knoll table that I bought in France at an antique fair. I love the height and I love the size and scale. Again, you see where I have the rose medallion scattered throughout the home and a couple of my kids' portraits. I love this little spot in the house because, again, in the morning sun, it's just a bright and cheerful spot. And I'm kind of crazy about this little table that I told you that I bought at an antique fair. I love the size and scale and it being small. I think a lot of times people are scared of white marble, and it really only gets better with patina and age. And this is a great place for me to read my Bible or have my coffee or return emails. So I end up landing here a lot. And I love the palette as well. This beautiful rug that I got from Patterson Flynn, which is the rug company of Schumacher. But I love that it just brightens up this little small space. I was inspired by this home when I first came here. I just resonated with this house. It felt like I had a heart and soul. It felt like a warm hug, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's just a Tudor cottage. It's very simple, but it has smaller room sizes, which I appreciate because when you're with people, you're with people. And I mean, it's of course missing some things that you might get in a traditional house. I don't have an entry, but you walk right into the space, and I've just gotten used to it. The galley kitchen is smaller, but just like everything, you get used to it. It just challenged me creatively to add more color, add more value, add interest. I love antiques, obviously, with my work. And so adding unique pieces really stand out in a smaller home that's got a really simple, lovely palette. Here we are in the primary bedroom. It's wonderful because this old house has a downstairs primary. And people have said, well, should you put a bed against a window? And, you know, ideally no, but in this space, we had to do it because of utilizing a space plan with a king bed. So again, we have our Amy's Interiors collection, and we have our Biedermeier reproductions of side tables that we have in here, and we also have our bed that we can customize in any fabric, any stain color. So we just have a lot of options, but I've got it represented here in my room. Another piece in our collection is a Sophie bench that we're crazy about. We were inspired by the curves of an antique piece, and we put the brass caps on it, and we just have a high gloss wood finish. We can also do in a painted finish. We can do any fabric. In this circumstance, we went ahead and matched the decorative pillows, the Cowton and Tout. And again, with the Eleanor side tables, we can also do in a painted finish. So we can customize in any way. We can customize size, color, stain, so it's just a creative process. But this is a small reflection. And another thing that y'all might see throughout the house is something that I love is the fabric lampshades. I feel like that adds a lot of unique flavor. It just customizes a lamp, and it adds color. So consider that. We are also about to do a lampshade offering on our Amy's Interiors collection. So we just felt like that's a great way to make a space your own. I have 2 daughters, and both of them are artistic, and I am not. I'm creative, but I'm not artistic. But my youngest daughter did this when she was 5, and it's very meaningful to me. So then my oldest daughter did these black and white drawings when she was in 9th grade. So those are very meaningful to me as well. And it's a good reminder to everyone that often things that are important to you need to be expressed in a beautiful way somewhere in your home. Sometimes I might put things that are more meaningful but might not be as current, and yet they're special to me. I might put it in a more of a private space, but that's why I love these. This piece of art is very meaningful to me as well. In going to the antique fairs over time in France, I've made a French artist friend and named Shiam, and I love her. And she is married to a wonderful person that when we've gone over there, we'll get to have meals with them and be with them. But she is very big on empowering women. And this series is Women Helping Women. And I think she reflects, how can we support one another instead of, compete or steal ideas? How can we help one another? And I love that message. And I love, of course, all the beautiful colors that obviously you can tell. I love color. Another thing to mention about Shiam's art is she does all of these beautiful works on antique architectural prints. So she loves the texture and she likes the way the color bleeds from it. And so, in the light, they're a little bit iridescent, and she just does beautiful works. So that's very important to me. Another inspiration of mine is Asian art, artifacts, Chinese sewing boxes, Chinese snuff jars. I just love Asian art. And these are some beautiful hand-painted pieces that we bought at the antique fair in Paris, and adds just a unique coloration as well as something interesting. I feel like adding old pieces, antique pieces, when you use color is key because it establishes the room and it keeps it from looking too whimsical and too shallow is maybe the best way to say it. So it adds a lot of value. And off of the primary, I have the primary bath. Again, this space is original to the house, so it's smaller, but magical because of the Pierre Fray wallpaper that I love. Again, all things Asian that I love, and you see it represented here. It's just beautiful. Again, this is something that we were able to go into the artifacts of the Pierre Fray in Paris and learn about the history behind some of the patterns and prints. So it became more and more enticing, I should say. But again, I told y'all over time, it did take me the layers of time to get new counters, paint, wallpaper, all those things. But sometimes you just have to be patient with ourselves in the process. I purchased this years ago from an antique fair in England, and I use it for jewelry, but I didn't realize, and it's kind of all junked up, but I didn't realize the wood makers would make these little tiny replicas of the piece that they were going to make for the person that ordered it for approval. So this is what we call a CFA. So it is a perfect little jewelry box, but at one point it was a large piece of furniture for someone. This is another thing that is very meaningful to me in my little area where I get ready in the mornings. But again, I've got this transferware that I love, all the beautiful Asian pieces, but it's the pictures of my parents, both of my parents, when they were both at college at Delta State, and she was this Delta girl beauty, and he had just come home from World War II, and that is so meaningful. And it's a reminder that you need to put your pictures of your people throughout the house. That gives you that sense of who you are, and who you are because of the people that went before you. My overall design is a mixture of antiques. I was in the antique industry in my 20s, and I became very passionate about the origin history of pieces, and I am also passionate about color and clean design. So my house is a mix of those things. Over time, I have gone to France to the antique fair on multiple occasions, and England and different parts of America, and that has been very fortunate for me to get a good eye for what pairs beautifully with our style, which you will see as you walk through the house. Welcome to our family room. This is where most of our time is spent. As you can see from the layout, it was a difficult challenge to find seating. We have the stairway here, we have a large opening here, we have a fireplace, windows there. So we just did a custom love seat for this space and just covered up that entire corner. But again, just enough space to do a small chair on swivel with a couple of our ottomans that are from our furniture collection. And those make it super versatile when we have more people over, when we need to pull things in. But again, it's a real small space that can work. And I think something about this room too is it's pretty dark because we only have the windows right there that were original to the house. So with that, we just went ahead and tried to put a lot of color in here and add some, antique pieces that have value. Again, the old Chinese boxes, our layers of books, the old porcelain. Again, you see on this Welch dresser, we have some of the Chinese boxes, as well as some of the rose medallion, rose mandarin that I've collected over the years. This piece I purchased at a London antique fair years ago, and it was, I think originally they would say they were a dumb waiter. They would use them to stack plates and serve off of, but now it works beautifully as a TV console. So I love that piece. And again, I'm crazy about all things French. And this piece I actually purchased in Dallas from Nick Brock. It's a painting from 1925, a still life from George Klein, which I think is beautiful. Again, it has all the colors that I'm so crazy about. So that's something that's special. This pair of side tables I am really crazy about. They are Jansen. They're mid-century. I bought them at the antique fair in France, and I really love them so much. I love that they add interest. I'm not usually someone that uses a whole lot of red, but this color and the value of having something very special and unique, I love them. I grew up in Mississippi, and we always had a fire in the fireplace. It was something my dad always nurtured, the fire. And so now I've kept this a wood-burning fireplace, and I am quick to make fires throughout the winter. Even when it's not very cold, I love to get some pinon and do the wood burning fireplace when I can, as quickly as I can, I should say. I did get this little fire screen in France, and it was perfect because this is an old fireplace mantle, and obviously if I were to build it today, I might not pick this layout, but this is what I had, so I painted it, and this opening was rather small, but this fit it perfectly, so you make do. This piece of art I love. It's by Ariane Lepret. She is local. She used to live in France. I loved her use of color. It's also, again, the theme. I love seaside and the beach. This reminds me of the community of Seaside, and this looks like the little chapel in Seaside. So I asked Ariane to put a little cross on the top, and this looks like some of the little beach homes. So that brings me a lot of joy. When we first moved in, this was 18 years ago, and I had 4 young kids, and it was important to me that the kids felt at home quickly, and I feel like I keep repeating myself, but I do think having those family photos brings about a sense of home. And so I did kind of cover the walls with pictures of the kids. With time, I have replaced some with paintings, and here, since it's the family space, I put memories on the walls, and brings me a lot of joy. These pieces are wax seals, and we bought these in Paris, and we just had them framed so when people would write letters, they'd use their stamp and seal. So these are just a collection of the seals, and just a creative way to add color and value to a room, and maybe a little more reasonable way to put something on the walls if you don't want to invest in a large piece of art. And right off the family, again, we had this original opening to the kitchen. It had doors. Every interior space had doors, so I removed all of those to open everything up. But then in here, I've got this galley style kitchen, so it's just a nice wide space to work with. Our small little breakfast room, and I love this beautiful antique rug that I got from Farzine, who's one of my favorites down at the Design Center. But it fit the space perfectly. And again, my love for the beach, Teal Duncan did that beautiful piece that is serenely on that wall. So, and this, of course, leads into our backyard, but this is a great move-through space. And right off the kitchen is the dining room. This used to have a waiter door, so I removed that, but it's, again, cozy, but yet gets the job done. I have a beautiful dining table, sideboard, and corner cabinet that I got in Newark at the International Antique Fair maybe 30 years ago. So it is a testament to how, if you buy a beautiful antique piece, that it can stand the test of time. It adds a lot of value to a space, and when you buy something beautiful like that, it doesn't need changing. I have said this a lot with clients that on the front end, it is a big investment, but it pays off. These chairs we had custom made. In the last 4 or 5 years, it's a Groves Brothers, and they're out of Fort Worth, and they do a beautiful job at doing custom colors, and I love this color. This piece of art I'm crazy about. It's by Emily York, and I'm a biker. I love to bike, and so I saw it, and there's a biker in the front, and then there's a biker behind her. And me and my bestie, she loves to bike as well. And we kid about the fact that sometimes I'm out in front of her, but to be honest, that's the only thing that I'm better at than her, because she's better at everything else. But that kind of reflects a fun bike ride that we have taken so many. Again, you see my love for Asian plates and Chinese pieces. Again, my portraits. Another piece that I really love is this bar cart. I bought it at an antique fair in Paris. It has removable trays, and it will actually fold up. But again, like I spoke about earlier, it's lovely to have just another contrasting piece that's got, black lacquer on it. My parents were married for 50 years before they passed away, and these 4 glasses were a wedding gift to my parents. I love this vase. I have to tell y'all, this Asian vase is just very beautiful to me. It makes me excited. It's got every color in the rainbow. It's unique. And there were a pair, and I actually sold the other one to a client. And I loved this client, and we kidded about the fact that it's like those little heart necklaces that you have with your boyfriend in junior high school or high school, where you got half the heart and they got the other half. Well, she got half my heart, and she knows it. She knows that I'm glad that it's in good hands, so we laughed about it. Before we step outside, I wanted to showcase just 2 pieces that are important to me. So this is Kathy Lancaster. I grew up with her husband, and she has a gallery in Chicago, and she's a dear friend, and I love her. So it reminds me of her and her beautiful use of color. And this piece is meaningful to me because my oldest daughter won this in an art competition in college, and their challenge, or the whole meaning behind it, was to pick something that is a still life, something that's simple, but bring it to life. And so she brought this mixer to life with the use of color, and it reminds you of our challenge is to often help you guys bring color in to just enliven a space and create a whole lot of life, and that's what she did with this piece. I'm passionate about the fact that everyone's personality needs to be reflected in their space. When clients ask us to come in and give them advice, we always ask them what's important to them. And I think it's interesting to us every time we do an installation and we bring photos. We ask the clients to send us maybe 40 or 50 photos, and we have them blown up and framed and scattered throughout the house with various accessories, and it's always so meaningful to them, and it just reminds you that we're all that way. When you're surrounded by your people, you're happy, and we love that aspect. But just different aspects of coffee table books and color, things that are reflective of your interest so that it feels more like a home versus a showroom. And that's always our goal when we're meeting with our clients. Okay, this is one of my favorite spots. This is my my backyard, and I really desperately needed a little place for myself when I went through COVID. I had 2 kids here that were doing a college curriculum. I had one client that was building a house, and we had our other clients, of course, that we were doing all their remodeling, and it was just a full plate. And so I really wanted a back porch, but I couldn't really do it at the time. So I found out about these retractable screens. So this little space was already here, and I put a TV out here, and then added this retractable screen so that I didn't have to worry about mosquitoes and bugs, and so it provided a space that felt like a room. And again, it gives you that reminder of you might not have a big space, like I don't have a big space, but creatively figuring out ways that you can make it work for you. And this really works for me. It makes me so happy. I've got my couple little chairs out here. I've got a little fire pit and my grill. And then, of course, during COVID, my grass was always dead out here because I have a beautiful tree. And I decided to go ahead and get turf. And I built a little pool. And that has been a major asset to this space. When the guy came out to meet with me about building a pool, he mentioned that I really didn't have that much space to deal with, and yet it's all I need. It's been perfect, and it's deep enough that I can tread water and just enjoy being in just the refreshing part of water during the summer. But this was really a unique feature. When they came to build the pool and dig the hole, they said, you know, if we hit rock, we're going to have to charge you a little bit more. So you're going to really hope that we don't hit rock. And so then, of course, 4 or 5 days later, they were like, we hit rock. So it's going to be more. But the upside to that is there was a fresh spring in the rock, and it will keep your pool cooler. So my pool feels like it's chilled in the summer. And they said another advantage to having the rock under my house was the fact that I don't have cracking in my foundation, and my house is almost 100 years old. So that's the upside to having your house built on a rock. I think that might be a verse in Proverbs, but it's pretty amazing. Would love to mention that because this is turf and there's nice shade, and I've got the pool over here with the water feature, we'll come out here when I have friends over and eat outside, and I just keep a fold up table in the garage and cover with a pretty cloth, and it's just such an easy way to entertain, and not having a whole lot of space inside. This is just a way to create more space. Another reason why I did the pool that way and that small is I did not want to hurt my oak tree. When we first moved into this house 18 years ago, it was barely big enough to put a little swing on a branch for my youngest daughter. And so I didn't want to hurt the root system. And so that's worked out because it gave me usable space here to entertain and also have the pool and not hurt the tree. I love the question, what does home mean to you? Because I do think home is a place where you recharge, you rejuvenate, you really are able to settle in, find peace, and get ready to get back out to it.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.